Okay, today we have Toyota Verso 2006 with the 2AD-FTV engine, 2.2 liter. So the engine management light is illuminating on the dashboard, and the customer is complaining that when the engine is cold, it's very hard to start. So today we are going to investigate this. So let's first connect the scanner to the car. The OBD port is here, as you can see. Okay, the OBD port is here, as you can see. Okay, I've connected the scanner, and let's now investigate car farm. So let's turn the ignition on. So ignition is on. Let's now turn the scanner on. So let's scan the car. So auto detect. So the scanner can't read the VIN number on this vehicle, so I'm going to put the VIN number manually and then go ahead. Okay, I have put the vehicle VIN number or just the chassis number in the box manually, and let's see. So put enter, then yes. Okay, or yes. Okay, before. Yes. So engine control unit. Let's go for engine control unit. Okay, trouble code first. So these are the trouble code that we have. P0400 pending exhaust gas recirculation flow. Then so it's all one code, but a code. So currently occurring and pending, it's going to occur or register in the ECU. So far it's in pending mode or status. So in history you have also got the same full code. So I'm going to take snapshot or picture of it as a record, and now I'm going to start the engine and take some video of the exhaust flow, and because the customer complained that in the morning it has a white smoke coming out of the exhaust. So let's start the car. So it's in very battery is in very weak condition. So the engine is completely cold, and as you can see there is snow on the floor here, and also the car has been here for 2-3 days, so the engine is completely cold. And I'm going to connect a stronger boost starter to the vehicle and start the vehicle and see if the vehicle starts. So I have connected booster to the charging system, and I'm going to move the switch to a starting position and start the engine. So I have moved. Okay. So the vehicle has started immediately with the charger booster. The engine is running very smooth, no shaking, no nothing. The only thing that this injector seal is leaking, and also there was snow, so some water is dropping. The snow is melting and the water is dropping from this on the top of the injector. So let's check the flow of the exhaust. So as you can see, the flow of the exhaust. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to warm the car up until the engine reaches to the operating temperature, and then I'm going to observe the live data from the ECU on the EGR valve condition or status, that the EGR valve position where is, and also I'm going to take some like manufacturer specification, recommended specification, and then compare that with the current data taken from the EGR valve, and then we'll go ahead. As you can see, the engine management light is on and the engine is running, but I think the engine is right now from cold is running very smooth. I think the issue would be with the EGR valve or the exhaust flow through the exhaust gas recirculation valve, or that could be blocked. Or anyway, we are going to investigate that. But the customer told me that the car is not going to start in the morning when it's cold. That's right, because the battery is very bad battery, and the battery definitely needs to be changed. So the engine is still cold, but there is no that much excessive smoke to be worried about it. I think it's okay, because the car was stationary for a few days in the cold, and some moisture is created in the exhaust system, and also until the engine is becoming warm, so we will see that type of smoke, or it's like steam type, but that's gonna be all right. Fill up water. I'm going to dry this and then leave the car. So this steam is leaking, so it's already on order. So let's leave the car until the engine reaches its normal operating temperature. So let's go for the engine control unit live data before the engine has become warm. So go back and live data and see what's going on there. So engine live data, let's select relevant topic from the list. So mail is on, yes. EGR monitor unavailable, incomplete. So manipulative pressure, engine speed, vehicle speed 0, massive flow 16 point. That is going to be our focus on, because as you can see, the engine is still not properly warm up, and the massive flow sensor flow is 16.65 GM. So target exhaust gas recirculation position, its target is 0. Warm up cycle. Okay, we have coolant temperature 158 Fahrenheit. I'm not sure how much is going to be that in Celsius. Massive flow 16.65 gram per second. Injector feedback value 1 is 1. Injector feedback value 2 1.7. Injection feedback value 3 is this one. So right now it's minus 4.7. So this one reaches even minus or plus 5, which is no good for the injection. So the manufacturer specification is between minus 3 or to plus 3. So this is injection feedback value for injector number 3 is going to be that. So 4 is good, this no problem. Exhaust gas recirculation, so it means that the because the potentiometer or the position signal voltage is 3.78, so the EGR valve is going to be very close to a closed position. So exhaust gas recirculation closed line. Okay, exhaust gas recirculation, so left sensor voltage percent. No idea what does this mean. So if that's 69.5 and then this is 3.78, that's going to be on the opposite of each other. So exhaust gas is closed line value 3.7. So at now the engine RPM has dropped to, let me see what's the engine RPM. So show engine speed, it's dropped to, see this injector, this injection, this is no good. This one, that shouldn't be -5 or +5. So this injector is no good, that has to be changed, and the manufacturer specification for this one is from -3 to +3, the feedback value, or okay. Yes, now mass airflow has dropped to 10.65 gram per second. So the manufacturer specification, because I don't have by scanner which operate like bi-direction, which has bi-direction control on the component. So manufacturer specification is that you operate the EGR valve to a 0% meant to take it to a closed position. So the mass airflow sensor should read 10 to 16, and here, which I think it's alright, or the EGR valve is stuck in closed position, so it's not operating at all. So I'm going to open the EGR valve and see whether it's blocked or there is any carbon deposits or soot or greasy thing like. So then clean that thoroughly. So after that, you just see the mass airflow is 10. The airflow is not the mass airflow. The airflow is to the engine 10.53 grams per second. So I'm going to clean the EGR valve, and after that I'm going to start the engine and see if there is any different. And also, so where was the, and also here, as you can see right now, when the airflow is approximately 10.53, the EGR, the exhaust gas recirculation closed line, is 3.78. so it means that's going to be the signal voltage of the potentiometer signal voltage. And also, as you can see here, the exhaust gas closed learn value is also 3.78, so it means that the EGR valve is in closed position. So we will see later that. Let me rev the car if that's changing. It's not changing at all when I rev the car. Still remain 3.78. So I have done the repair. So as you can see, no more oil leaks. And also here no engine management light is illuminating on the dashboard. Okay, on this vehicle Toyota Verso 2.2 diesel with the engine code 2AD-FTV. So we have cleaned the EGR valve, and then we are going to check the function of the EGR valve. So in factory service manual they say, so okay, as you can see in the service manual how the P0400 is investigated. This is P0400. So I'm going to skip the rest of the procedure because we don't have any issue with the wiring system or something like that. So everyone was functioning. The only issue is with the exhaust gas recirculation flow. So I'm going to bring you a very useful point to your attention. So this is they say manufacturer service manual say connect the intelligence tester 2 to the DLC3, start the engine and turn the intelligent tester 2 on, warm up the engine until the engine coolant temperature reaches between 75 and 90 degrees of Celsius. Warm up the engine. Okay, so D on the intelligent tester to select the following menu item button. That's related to a particular scanner. So our focus is on just this. Check the mass airflow rate while idling. So standard mass airflow rate is between 4 gram and 16 gram. So operate the EGR valve using the intelligent tester or bi-directional scanner. Make the valve opening 0. Make the valve opening to 0% and check the mass airflow rate during idling. Standard mass airflow rate is between 10 gram and 16. So here was when the engine is idling and the EGR valve is operated by the engine ECU. So the mass airflow rate is from 4 gram to 16 gram. When we bring the EGR valve to a 0% opening position or status, so the standard mass airflow rate should be between 10 gram and 16 gram. So here on this car, because I haven't got bi-directional scanner to actuate actuator on with the scanner. So because we know that we have already cleaned all the passages, the EGR valve, the EGR valve and the pipe between the exhaust and to the EGR valve, we have cleaned that everything. So what I'm going to do, when the engine has reached its operating temperature, I'm going to take the value. Then I'm going to disconnect connector at the EGR valve, and then we will take the we will observe and see the value if there is any change, or either this can be put in practice, this text which what they have said here. Okay, as you can see, the engine has reached 286.8 degrees of Fahrenheit, which equals 86 degrees of Celsius. Now the engine RPM is 797. The mass airflow the mass airflow value is 12.7, 12.93. So now you keep watching this, and I'm going to disconnect the EGR valve wiring connector, and then you see if any change occurs in the value of the mass airflow sensor. I have disconnected the EGR valve wiring connector, and the engine is idling, but we still have 12.11. So there is very slight difference, because as you saw previously, the EGR valve was not properly sealing the bore, the exhaust flow bore. So even when the EGR valve was at rest position, now you can see the mass airflow has increased to 12.7. So right now the EGR valve is disconnected from its harness, wiring harness. So as you can see, the engine management light has turned on just because I disconnected the EGR valve. And this is the EGR valve connector. So now I'm going to connect the EGR valve again, and you see we read 12, no, let's see, 13. The maximum even reaches 13 gram per 13.7, 13. 1 second, 1304. So 1306. Now I'm going to reconnect the EGR valve and to put the connector back on and you watch. So 13 so 13 ground, and now I'm going to connect back. So now the EGR valve is connected back, and still we read 12 point. Let's wait a bit for the feedback of the sensor to the ECU to update that, to update that. So the EGR valve is connected, and I think we saw here the mass airflow to 13.21 as well, but I think this theory is not working with this car. Yeah, now it's still reading. There was no different even if I disconnected the EGR valve, and so once again I'm going to disconnect the EGR valve, and you just watch this 2 value, because right now it says the learn it's 4.14 volts, and the so exhaust gas recirculation left sensor. I think that's the position where the valve is up toward the closed position. So you watch this 2 values, and I'm going to this value and this value, and I'm going to show the second line and the third line on the list. So I'm going to disconnect the EGR valve again. So I have disconnected the EGR valve, but one thing can clearly be seen, that this data is no longer reaching or getting by the ECU. This has become 0 because the ECU does not know the position of the plunger of the or the valve of the EGR valve. So but this value still remains, but I'm not sure how often this updates, how long after, how many seconds or something like that. So I think this theory did not work for this vehicle. So as you can see, the mass airflow sensor is still the same. So I have reconnected the EGR valve connector, and I put the connector back on. So that was the investigation for the P0400, but at least we were able to clear the fault code, because before cleaning the EGR valve, the fault code was not erased from the computer. So thank you anyway for watching.